Okay, hi everybody. My name is SammyP, and this is going to be the first episode of a series that I hope to keep going. I'm calling Let's Voice, where I'm going to play games such as these Divinity Original Sin 2, and the idea is essentially to practice my voice work. I've recently started doing more voice work in podcasts and audiobooks and various other things. I did some commercials and stuff, and I've actually really enjoyed doing all of it. So I wanted to find a way that I both could sort of do more, sort of practice a bit, and also produce content for YouTube, because I have a few ideas, some of which are taking longer than others to put together. That's mostly my fault. And this is one of them. So this is my Let's Voice series, and we're going, as I said, I'm going to play Divinity Original Sin. This might be a bit rough. I'm not entirely sure how this is going to work out, but you know what? It's all practice. Let's learn together, shall we? All right, jump into the story. Actually, if I'm going to be doing all the voice, I need to turn off the voice. Okay. Now jump to the story. Single player. Classic. I'm not going to be doing the harder stuff because I'm focusing, as I said, on... Ah, what the hell was that? Sorry. Something's went in my eye. So as I said, I'm focusing on the voices and the characters, so we're not going to be doing the hard videos. I'm sure there's other videos you could go to if you want to watch someone do the hardcore modes. But anyway, we need to create a character. I'm actually going to be using one of the origin characters. If you haven't played Divinity Original 2, when you make your character, you choose a background, either a custom background of one of the races, dwarf, elf, human, lizard, or an undead version of the other races, or you can have an origin background where you are a named character, and the origin characters come with a different source ability. So all of the custom ones have Dome of Protection, but all of the origin ones have different ones. So for Beast, it's Blinding Squall. Those won't come up at the beginning of the game, but they will come up later. They also have their own story. They have like a quest that they're on. And even if you're not playing with them, you can have them as your companions in your party. Though when they're a companion and they do their story quests, you don't get to, you have no control over that. They just kind of like just do stuff, and it can lead to some interesting situations, which I will talk about later, because one of the people that I'm going to be bringing. I'm thinking I'm going to be bringing Beast and Ifan Ben Mezd, the Red Prince, and Sybil. Sybil. So those will be the characters. Hopefully I can keep their voices straight, which is, I guess, part of the point, is that practice of keeping character voices in line. I want to put out, I'm by no means am I thinking that I'm going to be doing a better job. As I said, this is mostly practice for something I've recently started doing. So I'm hopefully not going to get any comments about how dare I think that I'm able to voice these characters better, because the voice acting is actually quite good. I quite enjoyed. I'm playing this game through with some friends of mine, and I have enjoyed the voice acting and enjoyed the story, which is why I chose this game for the first of my Let's Voice videos. And I hopefully will keep doing these, because this is something I've enjoyed doing with other friends. I don't know if we used to play the Icewind Dale games, and we would take turns voicing all the NPCs, and you know, I had a lot of fun. There's a bunch of other characters. We're not going to be using Fane, and we're not going to be using, is it Losi? Not because they're not any good, just those weren't the characters I picked, and so here we are. Like I said, we're probably going to be playing as Ifan Ben Mezd, a crusader of Lucian's army. I lost my faith. We'll work on that. Thinking, what am I going to do? I was thinking of being a fighter. But instead of having Geomancy to begin with, I think we'll have Polymorph. Mainly because I want to play with Polymorph. Alright, so appearance, I'm happy for If and Ben Mez to look like how they want If and Ben Mez to look, so I'm going to leave him like that. And exit Geomancer. Where's Polymorph? Down the bottom, Polymorph. He could be our barter person, so he can have 2 points in barter, that's probably fine. Confirm. Get bullhorns. Well, I want tentacle lash. Bullhorns to begin with, I think. Which gives us an extra attribute point because all of the abilities give passive benefits. Obviously, these ones give passive benefits. That's the point of getting them. But these other ones, so Warfare will increase your physical damage. Polymorph gives you free attribute points, which is kind of neat. I kind of wish... No, I'll talk about that when we get to it. Concentrate at the moment. So there we go. I'm going to make a fighter. Probably Sword and Shield. So Bouncing Shield is fine. Battle Stomp is also fine. We've got the charge from Horn, so we don't really need Battering Ram. Yeah. Okay. Talents, Opportunist is good. I'll ideally want someone with Pet Pal, just because talking to animals is useful, but that will probably be whoever I have as my persuasive person, which I probably should think about. Alright, let's think about that. Okay, before we do that, tags, if you are a origin character, your tags are already chosen for you, in which case it's Outlaw and Soldier. Tags will provide you with conversation options. So some things that you won't be able to, you'll only be able to get if you have the appropriate tag, or sometimes people will react to you if you have an appropriate tag. If you're one of the origin characters, you get Ifan, for example, gets Ifan as a tag. So Beast gets Beast, Fane gets Fane. So the fact that you are this special character is a tag for you, which is an added bonus. I believe this is supposed to be like the instrument that is prominent when your character is doing things. I personally haven't noticed, but that might be just because I'm not paying enough attention. Sorry. Why do we grow mustaches? It just irritates people. I'm going with the Ood. Ood. It's going to mess with my presets now. That's a shame. So, I was thinking I wanted to make characters of classes that I haven't really been using, because I said I've been playing through this game with some friends, and I was doing a single player run until I decided to do this. So I was hoping to try some stuff that I hadn't before, which means I was thinking of using Beast as a battle mage, although whether he'll be a dual wielder is another thing. But that comes with Persuasion. Okay. And I was thinking of using Witch and Wizard as the other two. And Witch is also Persuasion. That's a bit irritating. And Wizard is probably Lawmaster. It is. Okay. Well, probably make Sybil a wizard, because elves get bonus to Lawmaster. I'll probably make the Red Prince the Witch, although I'm thinking of going away from Scoundrel and going into Huntsman, because I like Huntsman. I guess just means that Beast has an extra point of persuasion. It's probably not that terrible in the long run. I know you can do respecs. I haven't actually reached that point, though it's just after the first section, I imagine, as far as I'm aware. I don't know if you can do it on your companions, but It's not a big deal if we can't. Anyway. Alright, so I think the Red Prince will be our persuasive person, so he'll have to at some point get Pet Pal. Because I think that's useful. We'll redo this. Alright, so... Okay. Talents are still... Opportunist is fine. Tags, we're not going to be able to fix that. And... Oh, fuck. Alright. Let's do this.
It all happened like I knew it would.
Oh, okay. I guess cutscenes don't count when you turn the
A
voice
single
off.
drop of source magic.
Source magic.
And, like flies to honey, the monsters swarmed. The rebel panicked. The carnage began. And the Magisters pointed their fingers at me. Just as I'd planned.
Oh no.
I was shackled and collared. And sent to Fort Joy.
Hey look, those are all the origin
I'd
characters.
come here to kill Godwoken.
Down there.
But instead I became part of their story.
Divinity, Original Sin 2. Guess we're starting on a boat. I'm sure it will go well. Starting on a boat in a role-playing game. It's definitely fine. Things I do to complete a contract. Oh, let's have a look at our journal. A wolf alone, if hadn't been mezzed. Day 1. Is that the time? 8:46, or is that like a date? Is there a way to see? A wolf alone, Ifan ben Mezd. I am Ifan ben Mezd, prized Silverclaw of the Lone Wolves, en route to Fort Joy as an undercover operative. I bear an assassination contract with details of my target, Bishop Alexander of the Divine Order. Though he is a sorcerer and wears a source collar, Bishop Alexander continues to lead the Divine Order, as he is the son of Lucian, and it is widely assumed that he will succeed him as the next Divine. Chapter 1, The Merryweather. Lucian the Divine, champion of the Seven Gods and savior of Rivellon, is dead. He sacrificed himself to defeat the forces of the Void, leaving his son, Alexander, to preside over the next chapter of Rivellon's history. But Lucian's sacrifice did not buy peace. Instead, the years that followed were plagued by the menace of the Void Woken. These beasts were drawn to source magic, and left death and destruction in their wake. Incapable of wielding the divine powers that his father had at his disposal, Alexander has resorted to harsher measures. Start again. Incapable of wielding the divine powers that his father had at his disposal, Alexander has resorted to harsher measures in order to stop the Voidwoken. A great pogrom has commenced against sorcerers, those who show the most skill in the manipulation of source. Encouraged by his most trusted advisor, Dallas, Alexander has decreed that all sorcerers must be resettled in isolated colonies, where they cannot pose a threat to the rest of Rivellon. One such colony is the ancient island stronghold of Fort Joy. It is to this place that I, a captive sorcerer, am being sent. And we have questions on the Merryweather. Troubled waters. We are sorcerers being transported to Fort Joy, an ancient fortress on a remote island where magisters of the Divine Order have established an internment camp. I am bound by a magical collar that cannot be removed. Well, okie dokie then. A small tome. Maybe double something, check them, or I may just... That's fine. Let's call this... Okay. We have too long presumed Source as a virtuous part of civil society, yet we need look no further in the past than the Source King's reign to understand the havoc such magics may wreak. One day... One day, another order must follow in the Source Hunter's footsteps. Sorcerers must, be muted. The new model of Source collars provided by Verderman is proving most effective. Yoink. Let's loot all the things. Hey, a row of books. What's in the row of books? Nothing. Empty potion bottle. You don't mind if I just take all this stuff, do you? No? You don't mind if I take... What a well of knowledge this tome is. Dallas is such a dear leading it to me. Let's go talk to Magister Swain. There. Not too tight, I hope. The collar, I mean. Oh, not to worry. Every dog has to get used to its leash. In the meantime, your next stop will be the Magister William. All passengers have to be registered in the ship's manifest, and he's the chap in charge of the logs. You'll find him on the other side of the deck in the officers' quarters. And this is what I meant when the tags come up. So because he's a soldier and also an outlaw. Let's go with outlaw. You look around warily. Ugh, what damnable dungeon have I ended up in this time? Dungeon? You have the gall to call my laboratory a dungeon? I'd be quite annoyed with you if you didn't look so honestly perplexed. Index fingers pressed to her lips, she pauses a moment to give you a scrutinizing gander. My word, you do seem a bit befuddled, don't you? Perhaps I was a bit too generous with that sedative. Oh well, I'm sure you'll soon gather your wits. Most likely. Eventually. In the meantime, all you need to know is that we're en route to Fort Joy. A new life awaits, and if you're a particularly good boy, perhaps a cure as well, an end to Source. For good. You pull at the thing around your neck, futilely. Why have you collared me? Why, for my peace of mind, of course. Why don't you try casting one of those Source spells of yours? See what happens. You recall power building inside you. Remember the wolf of your soul manifesting. Unleash it. Currents of magic surge inside you, boiling, bursting, then breaking, only to fade back into your soul like rain into the earth. My, look at the concentration on your face. All will, but no result. There you have it, see? The collar's function. It mutes you, of sorts. Makes you unable to cast Source. For your own peace of mind, of course. Yours and the whole world's. Bloody murder. Looks like someone's hit the Hall of Echoes a little early. We'll go talk to them about that. But first, they seem very, very relaxed about what we can and can't loot on this ship. So I'm sure it's all complimentary. We can just... Yeah, it's all fine. Behind the Magister, a bloody mess lies in a heap. Gore and limbs lie at odd angles. You can't make out the face amongst the mess. If you peer into the room, what happened here? Well, there's been a murder. Sorcerer was killed by one of your own. Luckily, you were busy getting your collar fitted at the time, or you'd be a suspect like the rest of them. Waters is investigating. She'll figure out who did it. Always does. You nod and walk away with your head down. If they realize who you are, you'll win yourself a trip to the top of their list of suspects, collar or no. Oh, let's not go in there then. Oh, there's a sheep. See, if I had Pet Pal, I could have a conversation with the sheep. I now regret not having Pet Pal. Continue looting. Bedrolls are super useful. Oh, pants. Don't mind if I do. Mayhua, husband. Would you please tell this very charming gaggle, not at all brat-like babes, that I am by no account this lousy woman, nor do I sing, in fact. I'm deathly allergical. You play along and take her arm with a grin. Now, children, you must be mistaken. This is my wife. How very correct you are, spouse of mine. Madame Josephine Gribbles de Peeb refuses to be confused with anyone else. What? What's so funny? Her pinched face cracks into a great grin, and she shoos the children away with her laugh. Yeah, okay. You found me out. Go on, get, and maybe I'll sing you something when I'm good and ready. She turns to you, dark-eyed and dirty-haired, and smiles flatly. We've got to keep ourselves entertained, haven't we? That's true enough. You shake her hand. Losi, I presume. Yeah, you presume right. You ought to have a look around with me. We could watch each other's backs. Thanks. But I already belong to an elite and exclusive gang. Ah, thanks. But I already belong to an elite and exclusive ship gang. We play ball every week. Every week? Every day. Ah! So why not bring Losi, because she says confusing things. That's not true at all. Let's try again. Thanks. But I already belong to an elite and exclusive ship gang. We play ball every day after lunch. You're too soft for it. No, you take care, though. Alright. Suddenly, her eyes cloud into an unnatural black. Greyish veins run down her face, and her mouth tightens into a cruel sneer. As quickly as it came, the cloud clears. She smiles as though no change had come over her. Good luck, Chief. Yeah, she seems weird. Let's not bring her along. Oh, look. An elf sits tucked away in a dark spot, lazily rolling dice onto the surface of a barrel. They sound like the dry crackling of an old witch. Snake eyes. She chuckles. I bet that's just what they'll look like. Do you mind if I join you? She raises her head. Game for one, I'm afraid. Rolling dice. Deciding fates. Huh. Whose fate are you deciding? Oh, don't worry, honey. It isn't yours. She looks you up and down with the merest hint of a coy smile on her lips. Never say never, though. If you can decide fates with dice, could you read the future in cow entrails as well? She eyes you quite seriously. Not the future, no. But I can read the past in flesh. One of the perks of being an elf, you see. I'm quite good at it, too. I could lick your arm and tell you how you spent the night before last. Shall I? You don't see why not. Extend your arm. She gives your arm a vigorous stroke of the tongue, efficient like a cat grooming. It's not weird at all. You were in a cellar with other sorcerers. As everyone lay sleeping, it seemed you and another elf engaged in an action somewhat similar to the one I just performed. Only rather more vigorously. That's That's exactly right. Of course it is. The truth's right there. Skin deep. But don't you worry, darling. Your secret's safe with me. I don't lick and tell. Well, she's fine. She can come along. The Magister starts. Recognition growing on his face as he looks right at you. You look just like... The Magister's face turns white. He makes a move to step backwards, then stops himself as his hand closes on the weapon at his hip. It is you, Ifan Ben Mezd. I remember you. You were my captain's commander way back in the war. You nod. I remember you as well. Could never forget the stench of bile Vic. The Magister's eyes darken, his face closes over in a cold mask. I always knew you'd end up down low, lower even than us nobodies in the rank and file. The higher the climb, the louder the splat when you fall. In Fort Joy, you're about to fall further than you thought possible. And I'll be listening for the splat. Happy landings. Okay. Rude. Let's learn some recipes. Hey, look at all that. Don't mind if I ransack the kitchen, do you? No, it's fine. Okay. I'm doing it anyway. There's a lot of garlic. This tome contains no text. Instead, sketches of dragons fill every page. The artist is hardly talented, but clearly enthusiastic. Oh. And we'll sell it. Pots. Small... Okay. Why do you have a small bottle of poison in the kitchen? Do I... Okay. Talk to this guy. A broad dwarf sits totally upright on the bench, eyes closed, palms face up on his knees. His beard is a cascade of meticulous plaits, each one braided through with golden medallions. He raises an eyebrow as you approach, but doesn't open his eyes. Listen up, boy. You hear that? Boy. You ought to think twice before addressing me like a child. He opens both eyes and turns his head towards you, looking up and down. He smiles and closes his eyes once more. You look like a boy to me. Listen if you're interested, or get gone if you aren't. Alright. What am I meant to be hearing? The ship, of course. You quiet and you listen to the sounds of the ship. A wave of sounds wash over you, the unintelligible chatter of your shipmates, the groaning of wood from floor to ceiling, the boom, crash, and crackle of waves around you, complaints from the sea itself. And all these people are as chatty as gulls, can barely hear over the din. Ha! A calming sort of sound, isn't it? Well, there's talk, there's health. That all you hear, though? Listen close. You close your eyes, let the ambient sounds of the ship fade away. There now, just like that. Ha ha ha. His eyes snap open as his countenance breaks into an expression of joy. One great paw claps you on the back. The other catches you before you lose your footing. There, you heard it, didn't you? I knew it. I knew it. Aye, this is good news, boy. Good news. Nod. I heard it. What's it supposed to be? It's the wheel! The wheel, don't you see, you beautiful idiot? Squeaks whenever the helmsman jerks it clockwise. Squeaks whenever the helmsman jerks it clockwise, which means we're heading east. Burned my beard. That means if we've been traveling for... Yes, only 10.34 nautical miles to Fort Joy. Well, why are you excited about reaching Fort Joy? I haven't heard anything good about that place. No, indeed, boy. But that ain't my final destination. The dwarf leans back from the table and strokes his beard, gold medallions jingling merrily. His eyes roll over to you. That'll be all. Thanking ye kindly, boy. You say nothing, but look him over once before leaving. You may want to find him again inside Fort Joy. Don't mind if I take all this beer, do you? You're not gonna... No objections? Okay. What about you? Do you mind? No. It's, okay. Not really cooking much anyway. I'm just gonna... I spent my life singing for my slaves to bring me my supper. Finer fare than boiled roots and rotten tubers, too. Meanwhile, the magisters feast on honeyed meats behind this very wall. The indignity. More kitchen pots. Well, what do we have here? A fresh face in this stale hell. Let's size you up, shall we? And see if you'll do. The lizard looks you up and down, like a farmer would a fetching horse. All of a sudden, he grips you firmly by the chin with the intent of inspecting your teeth. The nerve. You slap his hand. Hard. Slap away his hand. Blah, 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 blah. I mentioned at the beginning that this is all practice, right? Made that clear? Have you noticed? It's... okay. The nerve. Slap away his hand. Hard. My, we are fierce, aren't we? Not to worry. I'll soon remember to do that. Now then, to business. You will answer me 3 questions. The first one is this. Can you cook? I'm actually quite the wizard in the kitchen. True chef. Music to my beleaguered stomach. On to the second question. Can you knit, weave? In short, tailor? You stick a thumb through one of the holes in your garb. Well, these are quite cool in summer. Yes, I can tell from your vagabond chic, a bag is as good as a shirt kind of style. I shouldn't be getting my hopes up. To my final query. Have you the ability to administer to the upkeep of one's personal appearance? The delicate art of cosmetics is what I'm after. You tire of this game. I tire of this game. You could... bugger off. Oh, goodness gracious me, what a bore. Off with you, quite clearly. You wouldn't have done it all. Shoo. Hey, a broom. I'm gonna beat someone up with a broom. Hi, you look like a named character. The elf is reading a volume of Cranley Hubert's famous encyclopedia. He looks up, his big round eyes scanning your body, absorbing every detail. He reaches out and takes your hand, turning it this way and that, examining it from every angle. Finally, he pinches your skin, gently tugging at it. Huh. Fascinating. He sits back and returns to his book, flicking quickly from page to page, completely oblivious to your presence. Huh. What's fascinating is that you apparently lack any kind of survival instinct. Huh? Oh, no, my survival instincts are quite strong. As with all mortals. I'm not sure why you would... Oh dear. I seem to have crossed some cultural taboo. How difficult. You have my apologies? Human? Perhaps I should demand the same of these red-cloaked humans. They lay their hands on me more than once. Who? Ugh. Bouncing from character to character is... Go back to Ivan. Who are you? Oh, yes, the niceties. My name is Fane. I am a scholar from... Well, I'm a seeker of knowledge. That's enough. It is pleasurable to meet you. You nod towards his book. Have you found much knowledge in there? Hardly. I have been reading this one for several minutes, and I have yet to find a single insight into the mysteries of the universe. It is simultaneously too detailed and insufficient. I know the beginning of this tale and the end, but I am rather missing the middle. Tell me, what do you know of our world's history? Let's go with Ifan. The history of this land is death and slaughter. I feel you'd be better off not dwelling on it. Oh, please, I have no interest in that. Your books are so full of it already. No, I want to know about the Celestial. I want to know about your gods. This text tells me they created all creatures, but nothing of what came before. Where did these gods come from? Who are their people? Where are the others of their kind? Well, why are you so curious about the gods? The elf's face freezes for just a second before he waves his hand dismissively. Oh, it's just one of my idle curiosities. We mortals do like to consider these things, do we not? Now, please run along. I have a world to decipher. Shrug and take your leave. Here to register, sir? Good, good. Magister Williams is just about done with the last passenger. You faring okay so far? Well, I've been through worse. Trust me, with Bishop Alexander in charge, things will get a lot better from here on out. He's God-woken, you know. You head on in now. Williams will sort you out fast. Standing in the center of the room, you saw a sorcerer haughtily eyeing a pair of nervous-looking magisters. They keep their crossbow... Crossbow singular, but both of them have one crossbow between them. Also, he's not keeping it... They keep their crossbows trained upon her as she's being interrogated by an officer. Stop putting it down! Is it so heavy? She's dangerous. Buddy, what are you doing? So you admit... It's really bothering me that they put down their crossbows. Just... what? So you admit it then? You murdered that poor fellow. Yes, I did. God, what was that? Just stick with that voice? Yes, I did. I'm gonna do it. You have to live with this now. That's the voice that came out of my mouth. That's what we have to live with now. Yes, I did. But of course, that was only the beginning. She turns her head and looks you straight in the eye. There are others whose lives must end. Good gods, the woman's mad. You there, sorcerer, go fetch Magister Swain. We need to do more. We need to do more than collar this maniac. We need to shackle her hands and feet. Feet? Hide my face off screen. It's fine. Yes, sir. Return to leave. This murderer must be brought to justice. By all means, do as the officer says, but you had better hurry because... She reaches for her collar and simply removes it. I'm just about to create a scene. Subdue her, man, quickly! If she casts Source, the Void Worker will come and they'll end us all! She smiles with wicked satisfaction. Precisely. You know what? I blame us. We chose to start an RPG on a boat. Obviously it was going to go terribly. They only have themselves to blame. Hey look, a chest with confiscated goods. That is convenient. I would like a shield, thank you very much. A knife and a stick? I mean, it's good to see that's exactly what it says on the tin, or do I want to mount? No, let's go with a knife on a stick. Knife on a stick? Get your knife on a stick. Excuse me, I realize you just died, but I am going to now loot everything from this room. For I am an RPG protagonist, and I must do what I must do. Oh, a deck of cards. Another... These not worth anything? Ah well. Maybe with my barter ability they'll be worth something. Anything in here? Empty cups, which aren't worth anything. Oops. Requisition, sorcerer hold. Pumpkin seed, flower, and crate. Alright. Someone will buy it. They always do. A few of them are in good spirits, especially the children. The others are sullen. Don't blame them. Change is rough. But they'll make new friends sooner or later. And when they're cured, and when we cure them for good, they'll be thanking us, not cursing. Well, most of them. That elf with the dice, that lone wolf, the creaky-voiced woman in the kitchen. Some folks won't get over it. I reckon they won't be the first to get cured, if they ever get cured at all. So, I've been trying to hide who I am, except that one guy just straight up recognizes me, and obviously they know that I'm a lone wolf. Where I was worried that if they knew it... Okay. So all my worries about them discovering I was a lone wolf are... Oh, keys are useful. Oh, what happened? Must have been the turnips. You grab a nearby cup and throw some water in his face. Water? Wine? For goodness sake. Oh. The lizard's eyes close as he slips into unconsciousness. Oof. Oh no, Magister Victor died. Oh, and he has nothing of value. The dwarf lies in a heap on the floor, his great beard twisted and tangled around him. He is stock still. You can't see if he's living or dead. You hold your head to his chest, listening for a heartbeat. You hear a faint thud, thud, thud. He's alive, but only just. Oof. Hey, shirt. The young woman lies in a heap on the floor. She's breathing normally, but her eyes are wide open, like those of a corpse. Dark, grayish-black clouds swirl through them. No. check on the elf before we go. No, not the final dark. Not yet. Take her by the hand and tell her to get up. Her hand lies limp in yours. She's too tired to stand. Too tired? She's just sleepy. She's too weak to stand. Dice roll darkly. They're rolling for me. This guy had lemonade, and it apparently survived. It's a chunk of flesh. Elves can eat limbs and experience memories of the person to whom the limb belonged. It also gives you abilities, so if you're playing an elf, you get a range of abilities from eating those hunks of flesh. Oh, let's put a bucket on it. Gosh, that looks very silly. It looks amazingly silly. What does that even do? 3 physical armor. Oh, alright. It's so dumb. Quick, put a bucket on your head. What can go wrong? Hey, it's gold cup. I do love being able to just like hurl things around in this game. So, don't have pet pal, can't talk to the dog. Every animal I can't talk to is just going to that was terrible. Money. Beer. I want to talk to these guys because it's more experience still, so... Man. The smeared ink makes the journal difficult to read, but you manage to make out much of the latest entry. Okay. You don't want to tell us what that was? My sweet Stefan, as I write this letter, we near the isle. By the time the owl delivers it, I will be but a day away. I have heeded Alexander's orders, just as you said I should. But I think of Lucian often. Would the divine have condoned this? Would he have blessed us as we ripped children from their mothers? Could this be the only way? I feel cold, inside and out. Of one thing I am certain, your arms will warm me when I find you again. With love, Rix. Oh, hello. Murtoff and Rick. Rix and Murtoff? You serious? Rix and Murtoff. Okay. I didn't make that connection until just now. But okay, game. You win this round. I'm stealing your letter and your cup of water. How much is the pillow worth? Rix and Murtoff. The letter contains a set of instructions for transporting sorcerers to a place called the Joy, but someone has inked an angry black line at the top, from the top left to the bottom right. Fair enough. Quill. Looting everything. I like that I'm just looting all this stuff, and they're just sitting there. They're probably not going to react until I do something about it. Bound token. The Source Hunters, valiant though they were, could not have foreseen Brachus' resurrection at the hands of the cult of Immaculates. We owe our very lives to two more of the very order that first fought to bring Brachus Rex to justice. The Sorcerer King is dead, yet his monuments still dot the land, a chilling but necessary reminder of his legacy of cruelty, greed, and arrogance. Now, I didn't play a lot of the first game, but I'm guessing that's what this is referring to. Over many brutal decades, Brachus' tyranny spread. His hunger for source and political power drove him to develop heinous devices and magic heretofore unknown. He punished the living with death and the dead with undeath. Many attempted to stand up to him, wizards, philosophers, scholars, but it was the order of the Source Hunters that ultimately forced Brachus Rex to atone for his sins. Sorcerer monarchs once performed great deeds across the land, and in his final days, Brachus did so from the isle he called home. But in time, as is true of so many things, he became increasingly corrupted by Source. So great was his greed and his fear that crafted us. So great was his greed and his fear that crafted a soul forge with his twin Cassandra. So great was his greed and his fear that he crafted a soul forge with his twin Cassandra. I feel like someone didn't read some of this aloud. Once the ritual was complete, Brachus turned her into an undead lich so that she, and thus he, might live forever. Rude. Hey, buddy. Thanks to gods. By divine grace, that was... He eyes the collar circling your neck and reaches his hand towards his blade. Another sorcerer. The Magister's companion doesn't blink, frozen in place at the sight of you. Motion to the destruction going around. Ugh. Practice. Motion to the destruction around you. What's going on here? What have they seen? Oh. Hey, tell me in the comments if you want me to edit out all my mistakes. Or do you enjoy watching me fail? Motion to the destruction around you. What's going on here? What have you seen? Like you don't know. Mutiny! Did that witch fix your collar too? He whispers loudly to the other Magister. Don't just cower there, Rix. Take up your blade! Rix grabs his sword, which shakes in the rhythm of his trembling hand. Okay, persuasion. I'm feeling my strength is better than either of those other stats, so let's try and intimidate them. That's right. Ifan Ben Mezd. That's right. There's a mutiny. And if you want to see your families again, you'll stand down. The Magisters look to each other, then back to you, and unsheath their blades with a metallic zing. Your lies end here. Get him. Fight. So he's got no physical armor, so I feel like if I shield throw... Poor Rix and Murtar. They were probably too old for this shit. Can't believe I didn't notice until now. Alright. Onwards with the looting of the sinking ship. Shoes, to be honest. Walking around in bare feet. Murtov. Gathfog barrels have been locked down in storage. Stay out, you and Rix both. If anyone starts fooling around down there, it'll be lights out. Captain Calwin. Hey, it's Fane. Pass through the door and are suddenly face to face with an undead. His skull is bizarrely angular, and a glorious jewel sits in the middle of his forehead. The skeleton is quickly leafing through a volume of Cranley Hubert's famous encyclopedia, muttering to himself, No. What damn fools record knowledge on a pulped tree? It catches fire. It turns to must? It turns to must. Is that correct? I don't think that's correct. It catches fire. It turns to mush when wet. It cannot even resist acid. No wonder they're so bloody ignorant. The skeleton looks up and notices you for the first time. Oh, it's you. Shouldn't you be running and screaming or some such? Who are you? What? There's something familiar about the way he holds that book. The skeleton groans and looks back at his book, frantically flipping from page to page. Yes, indeed, it looks... Oh, so I apparently said... Okay. It's a bit unclear when you actually say words, when it's like, it's describing it as an action, but this is... Apparently he's responding to as if I said it. That's fun. Game, I'm trying to voice these lines, and you're making it very unclear for me. Surely you should have expected your fully voiced game to do that. He says facetiously. Where are we? Yes, indeed. It's the look of someone who wants to read the bloody book he's holding. Now, if you're quite finished, I believe you have lifeboats to flee to? Wait. You're the elf. The elf that was reading the book. Oh, please. I was no more an elf than you are those rags you're wearing. I had a mask, rather ingeniously designed, which allowed me to take that primitive form. A mask that was stolen by that damned witch and her little scene. Still, she'll drown with the rest of these fools, and I will simply pluck my mask from her cold, dead hands. That seems sensible. Indeed, just as sensible as getting off a sinking ship and leaving a fellow to his business. I would say good day, but it seems quite likely that you're about to die a rather horrible death. So, the skeleton shrugs casually and returns to his book. He's fun. But let's not bring him on, because he also seems silly. A jug, which is apparently useless. The marking on the door was painted recently, judging from its pungent scent. You recognize the symbol immediately for what it is, a warning of death fog within. You press your palm against the door to open it. The wood feels neither cold nor warm, but simply grey. The color drains from your hand and you are left numb. Pull open the door. It doesn't budge. You use your key. The door groans open, but an ashen shadow clouds your mind. Oh dear. Death fog to get out of there now. Except that I can still loot people without running into them. Really glad that didn't just suddenly kill me. What did I just get? Shattered two-hander, cracked sword. Cracked sword does the same as what I have. Fantastic. Yeah. Some barrels. Or not. God damn it, get this off this wreck real quick. We're getting off the wreck, we're just looting stuff first. Come on. See? Look, if we hadn't gone through, we would have not got much. 4 gold. 7 gold now. clearly super important. And a cup of milk. Okay. $9 gold, but $9 gold and a cup of milk. Encourage myself. And hopefully I want them to run through the poison, is what I'm doing there. Yeah. And then they will... And I can knock them both over? Yes. Ooh, gloves. Moldy mittens. Oh, okay. More like braces than gloves, I suppose. Oh. Okay. Now sometimes these people, the captain and this other person, have useful gear, so I'm going to go up and try and take their gear off them. Oh, shoes. And a grotesque jar, apparently. What? Okay. Look at me, wearing clothes. Is it easier just to... Huh. I was going to go to the effort of putting out the fire with these barrels, but I guess with a shield I can actually just run. It's not terrible. Yeah, it was less damage than I expected it to be. Okay. Good to know. What? Oh, I ran through it. Hey look, a life. Shut your trap, kid. Children and dwarves first, just like the old stories say. Dwarf yanks on one of the nearby ropes to no avail. You said there were other people down there. We need to help them. You see those tentacles, kid? It's time for getting the hell out of here. The ship trembles beneath your feet. The kid's right. Look, I'll go to the lower decks and look for survivors. Thank you, thank you, thank you. There's a ladder right over there. You can go straight down. It's gonna be the death of us. You hear? But I want those people in my party later. I, as an RPG protagonist, know these things. I'm protected by... Zap. Going forward. I should have checked myself. encouraged. Just gonna walk over and smack this thing. Oh, that's all of them. They were bleeding. Probably not. Oh, let's go talk to Swain. She tries to speak, but can only gape as she clutches her neck, trying to stem the bleeding of a gushing wound. You look around for some way to help her. With jagged movements, she raises her clenched fist and holds out a length of cloth soaked with some kind of strong-smelling tincture. Take the cloth and hold it tight against the wound to try and stem the bleeding. Blood quickly soaks through the cloth. Magister Swain's mouth opens and closes, her eyes wide in terror. You hold the cloth tighter to the wound. It's working. The pressure is stemming the flow of blood. Swain clutches your arm, her eyes locked with yours. Something within the ship snaps. The floorboard shudders. Continue holding the cloth to the wound. Take Swain's hand and help her to stand. Swain struggles to her feet, clinging to you tightly. The ship lets out a deep groan, then cracks. Well. Alright guys, it's been fun, but apparently I'm about to die with this ship, so I guess there's no way we can survive this. We're all dead. Oh, we get experience though. Like it's got the little light on the front. The sort of the phosphorescent light, like an angular fish.
I have plans for you, child.
What? We survived? I didn't see that coming. I'm stunned. Shocked, even.
Honorable Dallas, we lost a ship sailing sorcerer prisoners to Fort Joy. We assume some escaped and broke their collars. Their vile magic lured the Voidwoken. All who were aboard are presumed dead. Yours faithfully into eternity, High Judge Orivan.
I like that the J looks like an F. High Fudge Orivan. Most people you encounter will be interested in trading with you. Hold left. Left call. So the order's right about one thing. We attract Voidwoken. Am I the only survivor? Only one way to find out. Alright. I think we're coming close to an hour. I very cleverly forgot to check my start time, so I don't actually know. Just hang on. Alright. So it's been about 45 minutes since I saved, which is the beginning of that. We did a bunch of stuff beforehand. Yeah, it's probably been about an hour. Okay. I think I'm going to wrap it up here. And so next episode, we'll gather our party and discover what Fort Joy has to offer. Yeah, so if you have reached the end of the video, thank you so much for watching. As I said at the beginning, this is my first video that I'll be putting up onto YouTube. I have been toying for a while of doing something. Actually, I'm going to change my... Boop. I've been toying for a while about doing some content for YouTube or possibly streaming, but I live in Australia and our internet is not up to the task. It's being improved, sort of. It's a whole thing. Don't worry about it. So right now, this is my plan: is to do these videos, this less voice. Oh, I'm keeping all these mistakes in right now because I just don't want to edit the video. But if it's irritating for people, let me know. Let me know in the comments if you find that irritating, and I will put a bit more effort in, and I'll edit out the less amusing mistakes. And you'll just notice, because I'll clip a little bit, and you'll be like, ah, he fucked up a line. But yeah, thank you very much for watching the video. If you have enjoyed yourself, please do all those wonderful YouTube things of liking, sharing, subscribing. If you want to know when I put up new videos, which at the moment I'm thinking at least weekly, maybe more. We'll see how we go. I'm going to probably try and do it at least twice a week. I don't know when I'll be putting them up. But I mean, you can press the little bell and it will tell you. Apparently, YouTube's like that. I will put my Twitter details somewhere, probably in the description of the video. So I will try to be good about tweeting out when videos go live. But yeah, hope you enjoyed, and I hope you come back to watch episode 2 of my Let's Voice for Divinity Original Sin 2. Until then. How do I stop this thing from recording? There it is.